Thank you for joining us as we commemorate Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. And I'm honored and privileged to be joined by Holocaust survivor Lily Ebert, BEM, and her great-grandson, Dov Foreman. Thank you both so much for joining me and taking the time to speak with me today.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Well, Lily, you have over 1 million TikTok followers, a Sunday Times best-selling book. You've appeared on national and international TV and in newspapers. You've spoken both at Buckingham Palace and in Parliament. Tell me, what does all this mean for you and how do you cope with it all?
I am very lucky that, thank God, I can cope with it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I don't think I know another 90-year-old who's on TikTok. Do you go on that regularly?
TikTok, I have a good teacher.
Right, excellent. It's always good to have someone to teach you. Fantastic. Well, your story of surviving Auschwitz is incredible, and it's a phenomenal story. And there's one aspect, of course, that stands out, and it's your story of your necklace. Would you mind telling us what happened?
What happened before, when we were still in Hungary, then began already difficult times, and you had to give up everything, jewelry or everyone. So my brother put a few jewelry in the heel of my mother's shoe, and these little gold was in the shoe for my mother. When we went in the camp, then they took away everything, but left only the shoes. And my mother's shoe was on my feet, and like that, and they let to keep us the shoes because they gave us these wooden shoes. It looks like they run out of the wooden shoes, so they let us keep our shoes. And like that, I have my shoe, and in the heel of my shoe was this golden necklace. Like that, it survived the camp. But when I was in the camp, with the time, the heel of the shoe was worn out. So what could I had not a piece of paper, nothing. How could I keep these little golden medals? I took that every day. I changed every day in the little piece of bread what we get to eat. And like that, the medal with me survived the camp.
It's incredible. Are you showing us now?
These little golden medal. And here, I don't know when you can see even how a little bend where the nail went in.
Yes.
Hold it a bit here to the camera.
Where?
Yeah.
You can see it.
Could just make it out.
A little hole.
Right.
Little. How it get damaged, how they were put in the heel.
Right. Wow.
And you can see.
Incredible. For it to survive like that, it's an absolute miracle, isn't it?
Survived because I never, ever take it off.
Right. Right.
Day and night, it is always on.
Right. Wow. Wow. So such a special thing to have. Wow. Incredible. Thank you so much. And I noticed that you're
only thing, but at home, went through Auschwitz. To understand that, in Auschwitz, they took even the gold and teeth who somebody had,
right.
Take it out.
Right.
A gold to survive with the original owner, maybe that is the only gold who survived with the original owner.
Wow.
And that was, I really appreciate. First, it is fun at home, and it survived the hell, and therefore I appreciate it very much.
Sure, an absolute miracle, incredible. Thank you so much.
America.
Yeah, I noticed also another medal you're wearing there.
Sorry?
I noticed another medal there.
Oh, that I get
Can you tell us about that?
yesterday. That is the Hungarian medal.
The highest national medal.
From Hungary.
Yes, from Hungary.
From the president of Hungary.
And you
yesterday we had with the president not yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday in the embassy, but the
And
embassy gave it on behalf of the president.
the Hungarian embassy, I thought.
Right. What?
I spoke also a lot in the Hungarian embassy for the Hungarian people, and I get it. That is the highest medal for Hungary.
That's fantastic. That's incredible.
And
wow.
It was a very special ceremony yesterday to see my great-grandmother there with 10 of her great-grandchildren, 3 grandchildren, and one of her daughters.
Yes.
It was really special to see the Hungarian ambassador on behalf of the Hungarian people,
right,
and the Hungarian government, reassure my great-grandmother that they will not allow her story to be forgotten. Wow. Of course, we know that the Hungarian Holocaust was one of the darkest periods in the Holocaust, where in just under 3 months, 450,000 people were murdered. 80% of the Hungarians that arrived at Auschwitz were killed on the day they arrived.
Right.
My great-grandmother's mother, younger sister, and brother. And so it was really special and a really moving ceremony where the ambassador celebrated the work that my great-grandmother has done in her incredible life since the Holocaust, but also where he paid tribute to her family and to all those who unlike my great-grandmother, they can't talk and they're not able to share their stories.
Right. Oh, thank you so much for telling us about that. And I did see a picture, the family picture was wonderful, really very, very special moment for you. Taking you a little bit back to obviously your story, and obviously we've heard how you survived Auschwitz. Could you tell us a little bit about your liberation and what it was like, what life was like for you afterwards?
Immediately, we were liberated. So we are here now, young girls, without parents, without belongings, without money, without any help. And so traumatized, and begin a new life. I begin a new life without any help. Everybody were in bad situation. There were no people who could help. But we had to begin. So you could do 2 things could happen. Or you had to fight to begin, to live, or get under. And I decided, luckily, I survived with my 2 younger sisters. So I know I had for something to fight. I had to look after them, because I know if I give up, they have also no future. I must do something. So I decided I will not give up. And the second reason was also that I didn't want to give up. I know I want to tell the world, because I decided I thought so, I can change the whole world. I wanted to change the world. That's something. I thought so then, but I'm telling my story, it will not repeat this terrible story again. Then the world has to know it. So I survived.
Wow, amazing.
And I tried to tell the story. I went back a few times now after the war to the camp with young people. One of them was also my great-granddaughter, with different groups of people. people, because I know something else. It is something else to tell the story or to show the place where we were. And I quite a few, therefore I took people to the camp back, show them that they should see this terrible place.
Right. Incredible. How hard must it be for you to go back when you went back there to see a place like that again?
In a way, it was very difficult. In the other way, I wanted to show the world. They took me there and they said, for this place is no way out, only through the chimney. And I wanted to show them. I go back and not alone, and not with my children, my grandchildren. And we will come out. And I came out from this terrible place where it was no out with my grandchildren. And this feeling you cannot describe with words.
The greatest victory.
It is a
Fantastic. You must have tremendously strong will. Where do you think you get that strength from?
If I would not have the strong will, these people could not survive. I must have. Thank God it looks like parents, grandparents, I don't know where from, but luckily I had it because I needed to have it.
Right. Baruch Hashem, thank God for that.
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely to see you sitting here together with your great-grandson, Dov. And I know that the two of you are, you're celebrities together. It was in 2021 that you co-authored your book. I have it here. Fantastic book, Lily's Promise. And it became an instant bestseller. And can you tell us a little bit about this book? What it was like writing it?
So Lily's Promise took a year to write together, but really it took 77 years to write. It's the culmination of my great-grandmother's whole life. What's quite unique, a lot of people say what's quite unique about Lily's Promise is that it doesn't stop at liberation. Most survivor memoirs finish after liberation, but with Lily's Promise, you are able to see the effects that the Holocaust had, not only on my great-grandmother having to restart and rebuild a new life, but also the effects on her children, grandchildren, and on her whole life, moving from country to country, having to learn new languages. And so I think it's a very interesting book in that aspect, but it's also unique because it's one of the only books written together with a great-grandchild and a great-grandparent. And we happen to be almost exactly 80 years apart. So I think it's very unique in that way as well. But as I said, the book took a year to write, and we were very conscious that we wanted to make sure that every single detail in the book was accurate. So we had numerous museums working with us on the book, including the Auschwitz Memorial, who have given a quote to the book to say that all the dates and facts are accurate. And we spoke to historians at Yad Vashem and the United States Holocaust Memorial, all to ensure that survivors could not, to ensure that deniers could not unpick the testimony and say, this isn't true or that isn't true. There's supporting documents for almost every single fact in that book. And that was one really important factor for us, because unfortunately we've seen with some books and some movies about the Holocaust that they're not accurate, and we know how dangerous those can be. So it was really important for us that Lily's Promise was accurate, but also that it was in my great-grandmother's voice herself. If you meet my great-grandmother, you can hear almost the words from the book in her accent, in her voice. And the book is really written in the way that she would speak, because what's so important is that I'm doing history A-level. I know how hard it is to learn from facts in the textbook and to learn from numbers like 6 million. But when you hear the voices themselves, that's when you can really understand, or to the best of our ability, try and comprehend what really happened there. And that's why we wanted it to be in my great-grandmother's voice, because when you see the number 6 million, you can't understand it. But when you see my great-grandmother, you can try to. So that's kind of the process of writing the book. And we're so glad that it's been taken so well.
Right, fantastic. Yeah, it really is. It's something very, very special. You talk about obviously making sure the facts are accurate in order that no one can ever deny it. What do you say about those What do you say to people who deny the Holocaust ever took place?
Therefore it must be so accurate that they cannot deny it, because if they find the smallest, what you cannot show, then they say nothing happened. Nothing is true. So we were very, very looked that it should be the smallest the smallest thing should be accurate.
Right.
They cannot find no mistake.
Good.
And
Good.
Safta, what do you say to someone who said the Holocaust didn't happen? What would you say to them?
But that makes me really a bit nervous, because today we are, a few of us, still here. We are alive. We cannot still tell, have a look, I am alive, I was there, look at it. Here is a number. I get a number on my arm that they put on the animals, they put of human beings. I have the number for human beings.
Yeah. There is no denying. There is denying. How?
So you deny something when a few witnesses are still here. Because I am telling the world, I am still alive, I am a witness. I was there.
100%.
Luckily, we have, but what will happen a few years' time when it will witness will not be anymore. So deniers already are here. I am a bit worried about that. And that for the young people have to get and take it in their hand that something, the world's biggest crime should not get forgotten. Why I say the world's biggest crime? It happens, and it happens today, killing goes well. But to kill innocent people for no reason, for the only reason is our religion, because we are Jewish. But we Jews, we are even used to it. Killing, we always say that, dor vedor omdimolenu lehalotenu. All those, they wanted to kill us. But to build a factory, they built simply a factory, and not to produce something in Auschwitz, to killing people. Something like that, remember, it never happened. And I hope that God helps, something like that. They learned the word from that. Something like that will not happen again.
Please God, amen. Now, if I can be so bold to say, Lily, that you're not just a survivor and a witness, but you are actually a hero for being through everything you've been through and dedicating your life to telling the story to ensure that people learn the lesson and these things don't happen again. As you say, the greatest crime of humanity should never happen again. Tell me a little bit how you feel when you see anti-Semitism still in the world today.
It is terrible. And the biggest problem is, if you would know, the illness is here, the anti-Semitism, but you don't see the refuah. How can you work this? We try. I try with my own strength to do it. And I know a lot of other people. And I hope with God helps, we will win.
But you write in the books after that, and many other Holocaust survivors say the same thing, that they hoped with the end of the Holocaust would come the end of hatred, not only anti-Semitism, but racism of all kinds.
Sure.
And that's why I think it's so hurtful to the survivors like my great grandmother to see it, because they know how far hatred can go. There's of course the famous Holocaust poem, which is read out on most Holocaust Memorial Day by Pastor Niemöller, which says, first they came for the communists, I didn't care because I was a communist, and so on. And then, or first they came for the Jews rather, and then they came for the communists, and there was no one left to defend me. And I think it does teach us a very important lesson, and my great grandmother always says it when she talks to children, which is wherever you see injustice or intolerance, no matter how old you are, what community you're from, and what community the racism or intolerance is targeted to, you have to stand up, because you don't know where that hatred will end. The Holocaust didn't start with Auschwitz, it didn't start with the final solution, it didn't start with the gas chambers, it started with words, it started with anti-Semitic tropes, and we have to be vigilant, and we have to realize that wherever we see those in society, as Jewish people, we hope that other communities will stand up for us when, for example, like last year.
Other communities, we have to stand up for.
But we also.
We ask only let us to stand up for ourselves, not somebody else.
I know, but my point was after that, we hope that other communities will stand up for us when, for example, last year, there was a 500% increase in anti-Semitism last May in 1 month compared to the month before. We hope that other communities will stand up and say that isn't okay. But we also have to realize that we, as my great grandmother said, we have to try and stand up ourselves to other form of racism too. And also just to say that any hatred is not okay in the world.
But the problem is, how I say it always, it begins not with killing, it hurts. Yes. And the trouble is what it hurts me, and I am afraid of, that the words are out already. Antisemitism, we should not close our eyes and say it is not antisemitism, because it is. And 100%. I am telling now the world, look out, and look, you have now to work out what can we do. Because maybe, just maybe, in the beginning, you can do something. When we let it to happen, it is too late. It is too late. We should not kid ourselves. Antisemitism is here.
100%.
And we have to fight it. And we must fight it.
Well, you are an inspiration.
Alive.
Yes. Just a couple more questions if I can. Now, I understand that Prince Charles recently commissioned a portrait of you for the Royal Collection. Can you tell us what that's like, having a portrait?
In my dream, if somebody would have tell me that my portrait will be in the palace in England, and I said forever, something like that, I would never have believed.
Incredible.
But luckily, we have the royal family here, the prince, and the whole royal family. They are fantastic people. And I understand what it means to live in peace, because that is the country where it was everywhere killing in Europe, and in England was not. And thanks, really, and everything begins from the head. And thanks for the royal family, what they are.
And it was quite right that Prince Charles also wrote a foreword to the book as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Prince Charles.
Okay. Amazing. Tell us something. When you met Prince Charles, you said it was a privilege to meet him. What did he say to you?
I said for him, thank you, what you do for us. And he said me, you are so special. And he said me, not I am, you are the special.
He said it was a privilege to meet you.
Privilege, I said, I privilege to meet you.
Yes.
And he said me, I have the privilege to meet.
Right. Absolutely. More of a privilege for him. Absolutely. And now you are such an inspiration, Lily, to so many people. And I know recently you sent a message of hope to Ukrainian refugees that they should never give up. What encouragement can you give to people facing difficulties in life?
Wanting. No, nobody can give up in life hope. Sometimes in the worst time doesn't exist at what I went to. They wanted to kill us. And I am here more than 70 years later. So how can that happen? If I would give you up, give as long as you have life, you have hope. And never, ever give up hope, because without hope, you have no life. Life and hope goes together.
It's a beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you so much. And as I said, as we commemorate Yom HaShoah, it's been a privilege to speak to you, an honor to speak to you. And may God bless you with continued good health and nachas and simcha from your wonderful, wonderful family. Continue to give you the strength to do the important work that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
No, thank you.
And Hashem, give me koach that I can do.
Amen. And to you, and thank you, Dov, as well, for joining us. And thank you for everything you do.
Thanks.
Keep well. Take care.